I'm Eric Wyatt, the Director of IT at the Matsu Borough, and we're here today to talk about smart communities. So when you say something like smart community or smart city, smart government, it can mean a number of different things to a number of different people, and all of them are correct. It means things like being livable, innovative, responsive, productive, resilient. So it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. Well, let's put some examples to some of those. When you're talking about a livable community, in order to be happy where I'm living, what do I need to know? Well, I need to know the most efficient way to get to work. So I need to know something about my transportation systems. Where are the quickest routes, which routes are clogged at any given moment. So we can get this information in front of people in a number of different ways. We can have live sensors on roadways that say how much congestion there is. There's social media where people are reporting back to large community bulletin boards to say which roads are congested, which roads have accidents, which roads have moose sightings. And getting that information out to the greatest audience most quickly allows people to make better decisions about how they're going to get to or from work today. Smart communities is transparent government. That means getting information that the government has out to the public so the public can be more involved in their government. They can have a greater say in their government. The government spends a lot of taxpayer money collecting information. The people own that information, and that information has to be disseminated back out to the public. Smart communities is a lot like military command and control. It's about getting the right information to the right people at the right time to make the right decision. So in your case, you want to make a decision about where you want to live in the Matsu Borough. You're moving from another location into the Matsu, and you want to know what's important to you. And that might be healthcare. You want to be close to a hospital. You might want to be close to recreation. You might want to be close to a school. You might want a certain size of a yard. Maybe it's 1 acre, maybe it's 5 acres, maybe it's wooded, maybe it's cleared. And so smart communities means getting this kind of information out to the public so that they can make decisions about where they want to live and how they want to recreate. We do this first by starting with maps. Generally, smart communities are done geospatially. We put a map on a screen, and then you start to mash up data. So we bring data in about schools. We bring data in about healthcare. We bring data in about recreation. And by putting all of that information together, you then can make the best decision about what you want to do, where you want to live, where you want to work. This applies to businesses. So if I'm in a certain kind of a business, I want to know where the population is. I want to know the demographics of that population. I want to know their age. I want to know their income. I want to know how they travel so that I can place my business in the most advantageous location so that I will get the greatest exposure to that public and they'll come into my business and do work. We at the Borough currently are working on upgrading our GIS systems, our mapping systems, where we used to have GIS as kind of a backroom shop where we produce paper maps. We are now putting those maps online on the web. We're putting them online on your mobile phone. We're making them mobile, we're making them more accessible. We're looking for our data sources and we're making our data sources searchable so that you can go grab the data you want and put it on the map. We all think geospatially. We say, how do you get to your house? Well, you go up here to the grocery store, you turn right, you take a left by the river. We think geospatially. So Smart Communities says, let's start geospatially. Let's start with a map. Let's put data on that map then that allows us to make these decisions. One of the things that we're doing at the Borough is we're bringing real-time data as to the location of our emergency respond vehicles back to the dispatch centers and back to the management and emergency services. So what that means is in real time we're tracking our emergency vehicles, we're putting the output of that onto a map where we can watch ambulances, fire trucks, law enforcement moving around within our community. Then when there's a need for these emergency responders, dispatchers in the dispatch center can send the ambulance or fire truck that's closest to the incident to them more efficiently. It means then that at the hospital emergency room, we can get a 2-minute warning before the ambulance shows up with a patient. That means that when there's a large natural disaster, our emergency manager and the management at emergency services can see where all of the assets are and move them into the location more quickly. So floodplain mapping is important to citizens for a number of reasons. I want to know that my house is in a floodplain area, so I know it might be flooded, and I need flood insurance. But by using the latest technology, we find that some of our old floodplain maps were incorrect, that water is probably not going to flow through that area. Well, getting that information out to the public, and where you thought you were in a floodplain before, and now you're not, you can actually save money on your insurance because you no longer need the flood insurance that you had before. So that allows us to do two things, and that is appropriately apply insurance rates to places that may flood. It also allows you to choose a place to live that is not going to flood. So the Borough is working on other areas of smart communities that are more productive, more prosperous, more well-run, more efficient. And so what does that mean? Some of what that means is if you live in Talkeetna and you have to drive in on icy roads to the borough to do borough business, or maybe to another business or another governmental organization in the area, you've got to drive for long periods of time over dangerous roads to get to where you're going. By using technology, you can stay home and you can do business online. You can go to the local library and do business instead of having to drive in. So smart communities is about being more productive by using technology so that you don't have to drive on icy roads.